Christians have already been primed for narcissistic abuse. Okay, because if you've been indoctrinated since you were young, the whole basis of the Christian church is they teach you to follow, believe, don't ask any questions. You know, the pastor is basically the master. They teach you to follow this man, which, why would you follow a man? The pastor is not God. You follow God. You follow God. You don't need a building to follow God. You can do ministry anywhere. But they're constantly referring to the people as sheep, and the pastor is the shepherd, and you're supposed to be obedient and give all your money to some family that you don't even know. So, you know, none of that makes any sense, and it primes you perfectly for narcissistic abuse because it makes you docile, it makes you dumb, it teaches you to not ask any questions, just follow. How is that helpful in the real world? That's not helpful. And I want to be perfectly clear. I'm not against God. I believe in God. I just think religion is actually confusing a lot of things and not helping a lot of things. Now, we know, and also there are narcissists in the church. We know that. A lot of the pastors are overt narcissists, and I'm sure even some of them are covert narcissists, I would imagine. But I was in a church where the pastor definitely was an overt narcissist. Like, he would just go on and on talking about himself to the point of being utterly nauseating. So I had to leave the Christian church because I was dealing with some heavy duty stuff, and I'm just like, I walked in here to listen to this guy go on and on and on and on and on about how great his life is, and I actually left the church. Some other stuff happened as well, and that's what put me right into, you know, actually because they mistreated me at the church, I then landed in the web of some of these narcissists. So you see what I'm saying? How is that helping anything? The church itself is brainwashing you into this docile follow mentality, which doesn't help you in the real world. Then you meet up with a narcissist who wants you to follow them and thinks that they themselves are God, and they all of a sudden want to become God, and it's just like everywhere you go, these narcissists are everywhere. Then you also have narcissists that hide behind the guise of religion. As I mentioned already, some of the pastors do it, but I'm sure a lot of people in the pews do it as well too. Because they're there because they already know that Christians have been trained to be gullible. They've been trained to be sheep. So it's a perfect place for them to go to find docile people that their minds are not... they're already brainwashed, which means your mind is compromised. If you're brainwashed, you can't even think straight. You're so brainwashed. Like, for instance, I would question things about the church with certain members, and it's like they were like ready to fight. And I'm like, holy crap, like, these people are completely brainwashed, and I just hightailed out of there. So, you know, if your mind is in that state, you're perfectly primed for narcissistic abuse. So I don't see how that's helpful to society. You know, that's not, because it's not preparing you for the wolves in sheep's clothing that are everywhere. So if there was an establishment that actually wanted to be helpful to society, they should be teaching people about, these snakes that are everywhere. That would actually be more practical, like teach them things that can actually be used, not just give us all your money and see you next week and give us all your money again. That's not helpful.